Hello, this is Engineer Murimbi Brishas. I'm your tutor for this lesson that we are about to have. Uh, we are having computer studies syllabus 7010. It is specifically a topic, or let's say, we're looking at senior secondary, that is grade 10, 11, and 12. So this is the first topic that we teach at grade 10, which where we feel like to say that pupils who are coming from their junior secondary, they may not know what their future is. So as the first topic in grade 10 for pupils or students who are going to embark on to study computer studies, that is 7010. The first of all that we teach to them is what we call computer career opportunities, where we highlight what type of jobs or the type of job they are going to work or to do after they have done their course in computer science or computer studies. So this topic is called computer career opportunities. It is very cardinal for a child who has just started grade 10 first to have this type of a topic so that they understand what is computer studies as they embark on the study, because this one will either make them to develop interest to take up computer as their future endeavor or not take up computer. So as the facilitators of this computer studies 7010, make sure that you highlight some of the important parts that will make the pupils or the students to understand what are some of the jobs, careers that are in a computer industry. Thank you very much. So now we need just to proceed. So now we are going to be looking at careers that are in information and communication technology, that is the ICT. So now, under this part, we look at the first area where we are saying careers in ICT, which is information communication technology field, are in high demand, and the industry is expected to grow. Now, what does it mean? It means that it is the industry that started as small. If you look at the history of ICT, that is in 1945, 1970, 1980, very few offices, for example, like here in Africa, specifically in our country, were using ICT. So now, at the moment, if you look at the current scenario, you discover that each and every institution in our country, they are involved in one or another using ICT. So this is where they are saying that careers in ICT field are in high demand, and then they are saying it is the industry is expected to grow. It means that we used to have few individuals who were involved or to interact with ICT, let's say systems, but at the moment you find that in our homes and everywhere you touch, every angle you step, you discover that this ICT is available there. This is why they are saying it is expected to grow. Now, what are some of the laws and tasks that are done in terms of in the information and communication technology? So we are saying this will include planning, then also installing, then researching, and monitoring the performance of ICT systems and the transmissions. So now, this is a broad area where you look at, for example, like how can an airport operate without ICT? For example, you look at and is it a manufacturing company? How can it operate without ICT? You look at, let's say, how to manage our road transport. How can we manage our road transport without ICT? So now this is where we are saying that some of the laws and tasks that are associated with the ICT, these include the planning, installing, researching, and monitoring the performance of ICT systems and also transmission. Now, we need to move further to look at what are those careers students who are studying computer studies 7010 at grade 10 expect to study after their school at grade 12. So now, the first career that we are going to look at is what we call computer technician. Now, computer technician simply means is an individual who have attended a course where they involve themselves in terms of assembling and the repairing of computers. Now, this is an individual who is specifically trained for hardware. Yes, hardware, as you may know, we discussed that these are tangible okay, devices of a computer system where we are able to see and touch. So now, for example, like if you look at an example of an airport, an example of a manufacturing, let's say company, or let's say you look at a shop that uses a store control system. So now for that store control system and also the airport, or let's say manufacturing companies, for those systems to work, they need what we call computer technician, because not all the time that these computer systems will be working perfectly, but they will have some ups and downs where we need the personnel who are trained in that area to look at them and repair them first so that the service continues. So we move to the other type of career. The other type of career is what we call computer programmer or computer developer. Now, this simply means that these are individuals or people who have studied their computer science who write new computer software. Now, we need to understand the software simply means that the sets of instructions, the codes that we design or write that makes hardware to work, or that makes an individual to perform a particular task. So those software are developed by people who are called computer programmers or who are called computer developers. So simply their job is to write new computer software. We go to the other ICT career. This one is called the computer operator. Now, who is a computer operator? This one also, I'm trying to emphasize to use an individual because these are personnel or people like you, yourself, and also maybe I, is a person who monitors and controls computer systems, especially computers that are called mainframe computers in a company or organization. So you look at a company that offers, let's say, internet service or a telephone service. So such companies need what we call computer operators who will be there to monitor their computer systems and control. Examples is some of the companies that, let's say, that installs towers across Africa or across the world. So now such companies have individuals who have successfully been deployed or employed to monitor and control the systems on how these towers are performing, where they are able to identify to say tower in the area. So it is maybe misfunctioning, then they are able to rush there and then replace any malfunction or part which is not performing well in that area. So that is on that one there. Now we move ahead, we look at the other type of career. The other type of career that we are going to look at is what we call computer trainer or lecturer. Now, this simply means that an individual who have attended a course to train people how to use various software or how to become a computer programmer. Now, when we say a person, is a person like myself who is lecturing today. I'm called a computer trainer because I'm able to train you. I'm training you. I'm going to embark on the journey of training you in computer science. That is from grade 10 up to grade 12. So my job, I'm called a computer trainer or a lecturer because my job is to train you on how to use various software. Now, when we say various software, what we mean is that there are software that I'm going to teach you on how to use them. For example, like word processing, presentation software, let's say spreadsheet software. Then we look at Adobe Creative Suite. For example, like when you look at issues like Photoshop, then you look at Adobe Animator, CorelDRAW. There are so many software that you have not learned on how to use them. Now you need someone to train you. So the person who's going to be training you is what we call the computer trainer, because you have no knowledge about that software, but someone has to come in to train you. So we are called computer trainers or lecturers because we are able to train you on how to use these software which are in the computer industry. Then now, the other part that I need to mention is on they're saying is a lecturer or trainer who trains an individual to become a computer programmer. If you want to become a computer programmer, you cannot just come from without. You need a trainer who has done a course or a degree or a master's or a doctor in ICT to teach you on how to become a programmer. Because in this one now, it will mean to be taught what we call programming languages. That is made, for example, on how to go about in C++ programming language, Python programming language, let's say, is it Pascal programming language? Is it web development, where I look at PHP programming, website design? So you yourself, the way you have just started as a grade 10 student, you cannot be able to become a programmer without someone to train you to be a programmer. Thank you. Let's look at the other career. The other career that we are going to look at is what we call a web developer. A web developer simply is a person who has attended a course on how to design and create and maintain websites. As you go on in your course, you'll be able to identify what a website is. A website simply is just a web page that displays the information on the internet, and mostly each and every time you interact with these systems or websites. So as we embark on our journey, this is our first topic. We're just discussing on the careers that are involved in the information and communication technology. So we are going to embark on what or who is a web developer. You yourself here, you are a web developer because you have a component in your course. Before you reach grade 10, is it grade 12? There's a part where you're going to start out designing websites using the language, the scripting language or markup language called HTML. Then the styling language, CSS, which is the cascading style sheet, and also JavaScript. So you are going to be called a web developer. So now we look at the other career. The other career is what we call a network administrator. Now, this is an individual who has attended a course on how to maintain and control networks. I remember some of you have done a course or a topic on the network and the internet, where you talked about to say types of networks, that is local area network and also world area network. For such networks to exist, it needs people who have been trained or personnel who have been trained specifically to those areas so that there's connectivity in the world. For example, like the way our chain shops work. For example, like one is in Nigeria, the other, the same company has an outlet in let's say in Ghana. So how do they communicate? So we need what we call a network. Now we need network administrators, individuals who are going to be maintaining and controls these networks. So we look at the other career. The other career is what we call a network engineer or network developer. Simply, this is an individual who designs network layout, installs and maintains network infrastructure. Now, we need to understand this one in this manner. To design means that you are called on the site, you are an individual who has been trained in networking, and then you are called to the site to say, for example, you want to network an airport, you want to network, let's say, a stadium, you want to network maybe a university. So you start from the scratch, where you need to make a list of the requirements that are needed. From there, then you give recommendation to the owners of the institution, and you recommend which shops are you going to get such materials. So such people or individuals are called network engineers and developers, because their job is to be on the ground, install a network from the scratch up to the time when people or individuals will start benefiting from it. So we got the next part. This is database administrator. So now, database is a wide topic in the information and communication technology, which needs just everyone to understand it. Database is what makes the current world to move the way we are. Without database, there will be no mobile networks. Uh, let's say banks will not communicate. Aeroplane may not be able to fly well. Then without databases, we may not be able to connect our family and friends. So database simply means is something that makes or that is part of our life. And I would encourage most of you as students to undertake or to take up this course, because it is so demanding and it has got high opportunities of employment. So now, who is a database administrator? He's simply an individual who captures and verifies the data that is stored in a database. So we move ahead, we look at the other part. The other part looks at um, we look at a career called sales professionals. These are individuals who provide information and sells ICT hardware, systems and services on behalf of the ICT companies. Now, what do you mean? What I mean is that we have, let's say, for example, companies like HP, those who produce, HP is a company that is specialized in hardware production, that is keyboards, let's say, laptops, the system units. Then we have Dell, is also a company that is specialized in hardware. Then we have Microsoft company that is specialized in software production. Then we have Google that is specialized in software, so like that. So now, these companies are found in certain countries. So now, for them to operate globally in the whole world, they need to have what we call representatives in those countries. These are what we call sales professionals. So their job is to represent companies. For example, like Dell. Dell is an American company that is found in America. So if to say people want to have access to Dell products, we need to have sales professionals who are maybe representing that company in one of the African countries where we are living. So they'll provide information about the products of their company, that is hardware. Then they will also provide the systems and also services on behalf of their company. So these are just individuals that provide information and sells hardware, systems and services on behalf of the ICT company. Now we look at the other career that is called ICT managers. Now these are individuals that directly and oversee the operations and the facilitation of ICT services in companies and the organizations. This is very simple. This normally you need to have a bachelor's degree, master's, or a doctor for you to be a manager, because is a kind of a person who understands different fields that are in information and communication technology. So you oversee the system. For example, like you may be a manager at one of the chain store shop. You may be a manager at maybe an airport, just to oversee on how the ICT infrastructure is performing. Or you may be a manager at a manufacturing company where they manufacture different products, for example, like washing detergents, then maybe drinks, maybe meal, rice, whatever. So those for production of those products there's ICT that is involved. Now we need to have what we call an ICT manager who is going to spearhead the jobs of other sub departments in the IT departments. So that's about that. So we look further. The other one is what we call the security consultant. This is simply an individual who has been trained to design and implement information encryption systems. So encryption is the process of protecting data by encoding it so that it cannot be read directly. An example is only when you are typing a password. When you're typing a password, when you type a certain character, that character is not directly shown, but you simply see what we call a dot. So that's what we call encryption. Now, why are security consultants important in the ICT infrastructure? For example, like banks, at the airport, in any infrastructure, why are security consultants important? So now, these give advice. For example, in a bank, issues of like hacking, illegal access to information. So now, the individuals or professionals to advise the bank, let's say fraternity, to say there's such a problem like that, are what we call security consultant or people. The people are going to safeguard the information, or let's say the infrastructure of the bank, so that the customers are not demoralized or are not ruined of their, let's say, money or accounts. So in every, let's say, ICT infrastructure, security consultants are very cardinal, and our device use, let's say, students to take up this course, which is what we call cyber security. This one, it is on high demand. Mostly, you work with different companies which are offering ICT systems. So let's progress. We look at the other part. The other part, now we are going to look at what we call, what are some of the opportunities for further education in ICT. Here, what we mean is that after you have finished your grade 10, 11, 12, and you have gotten a distinction in your computer studies 7010 course, now you say, I want to go further to do my computer course. What are some of the education career opportunities? The first one is what we call, you can acquire a certificate. at any recognized computer training institutions. So you check around with your government, try to find out to say, or your lecturers or your teachers who are in ICT industry, to find out on any recognized colleges that offer ICT, so that you can get a certificate in one of the careers that we have just discussed. Then the other one is where you make a consultation and then you want to obtain a diploma. You know, in the first one, we are talking about obtaining a certificate. Now, in this case, you are obtaining a diploma. Equal also here, you need to make some consultations to say which, let's say, institution offers ICT. Is it at diploma level? So you can go there and then do a course. Then we look at the other part which says acquiring a bachelor's degree in computer science at a recognized what university. We have numerous universities, but you have to be very careful, make sure that you look at universities that are accredited with the government's laws, so that you don't just go to university that after spending your maybe 4 year training, at the end of the day you'll be told no, the university where you went to is not recognized by the government, so the paper that you have gotten cannot use results like that. So make sure that you go with the university that is accredited by the government, to show that after you have done your course, then you are not disappointed. You need to have a good future in ICT. So these are some of the things that I can explain on opportunities for further education. So simply, after you have done your course at grade 10, 11, 12, then you feel to say that no, I think I'm confident enough, I need to pursue a course in computer studies or computer science. So you need either to get a certificate, or you need to maybe pursue for a diploma, or you need to pursue for a bachelor's degree. So now for a certificate, it may take maybe let's say 6 months, 3 months, then you are done, then you start scouting for employment. For a diploma, mostly it is maybe 3 years, let's say 2 years. And then from there you are done. Then for a degree, yeah, for a bachelor's degree, it is 4 years in a university, and then from there you'll be done. So now that is the on the careers in information and the technology. Thank you very much. So I'll meet you in the next lesson, that is grade 10. We come to the end of the lesson. Thank you very much. This has been Engineer Mrimbi. Thank you.